Baruchim Abba, welcome everyone. So today's Amud is MAKOS Daf Chof Beis Amud Beis. We're at the Mishnah at the bottom of the previous Amud. Just a quick introduction before we start the Amud. I just want to thank everyone for listening. We're almost up to 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit the 1,000, it could be live streamed. It'll save everyone a lot of time, whoever wants to listen. So if you like this show, subscribe. And this is really an amazing feat. I didn't think we'd get to 1,000 subscribers at all. Definitely not so quickly after a couple of months. So, kol hakavod to all of you guys out there who are listening. Says the Mishnah, Chof Beis Amud Aleph, 4 lines from the bottom. Kama malkin I say. So how many malcus does this guy get? Everyone knows it says in the pasuk Arbaim Chasar Achas. Arbaim. It says in the pasuk Arbaim. But we give him Arbaim Chasar Achas. We give him 39. He doesn't get 40. He gets 39. Shenemar b'mispar Arbaim. The pasuk says b'mispar Arbaim. The number 40. So why did you say 40? What's it b'mispar? It says with the number 40. B'mispar literally means the number. Yeah, of course it's a number. What else is 40? 40. It's a number. 40 is a number. We know that, right? So minayin shusamech la'arbaim. Minyan shusamech la'arbaim. A number that's close to 40. B'mispar arbaim means a number close to 40. What's a number close to 40? 39. So, no, it could have just said the 39. And they asked, why? Rishon asked, what? Just say 39, right? We'll see maybe. But so why would it say a number close to 40? What's the idea? If you want 39, just say 39. But that's how they learn. That's how Chazal learn the pasuk. The number 40 means a number close to 40. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer Arbaim Shlei Mesulaika. No, it means 40. When the Torah says give the guy 40, it means 40. No excuses. Give him the full 40. So where does he get the change, the 40th? Now, as we're going to see, the Mishnah says that malcus has to be divided into 3. 2 in the back, 1 in the front, right? So it's got to be split 3 ways. So you can divide 39 equally. The 40th, where do you do? The Gemara says, bein kseifav, be between the shoulders. The Gemara says, Mishnah says, we have to, you never give a guy malcus without making evaluation and assessment if he can take it. You have a medical team there, they say this is what he can take, and the Rishonim actually say someone weak can't take even 1. It's partial, someone weak can't take even 1, it's dangerous. We don't put anyone in any type of sakana, chas v'shalom. So the question is you can't say give a guy 2. 2 means nothing. There's got to be something you could be mishalish. 3, 6, 9, 12, etc. So you never give a guy anything that you can't do split into 3. It's kind of mashma that that's the whole market. That's the essence of it. You give a guy 2, it's nothing. It has to be 2 this way, 1 that way. Amdu lekaba abayim. So before we go further, just first of all, why would the Torah say 40 if it means 39? So, and what's the whole idea? Why especially 40? So the Rishonim or Achronim explain that it's keneged. It's a machlokes as well. Either 40 days that of Yetziras Avlad. It takes 40 days for a baby to be created, for whatever that means, right? Or it's keneged 40 days and Moshe received the Torah, and you violated the Torah, which was given in 40 days. So you get 40. So in that case, why did you only get 39? If you're supposed to get 40, give the guy 40. So it's also machlokes. Either because the Torah has rachmanos on you, really you deserve 40. But it's v'hurachum, Hashem's merachim, so you only get 39. It's a sign of rachmanos. Others learn it's because the fact that he's machniya himself, the fact that he humbles himself, and the emotional suffering he has, besides for the physical, that counts as 1. So there you got your 40. Now the shaila is this doraisa or is it d'Rabbanan? 39. You got the Mishnah brings a pasuk, b'mispar, learns it, b'mispar barim, it means 39. Is that doraisa? Is that d'Rabbanan? So the Rivan over here says is doraisa. B'misra boim, Chazal explained that means the midoraisa, he only gets 39. The Rambam says he's mashma. It's not mufresh in the Rambam. The Rambam basically says that the 40 is doraisa, and the fact that it's only 39 is darabanan. That's darabanan. We'll see in a second. The Gemara discusses it, but it's important to know what's the difference if it's doraisa darabanan. Who cares? Either way, he's getting 39, right? So what's the difference? So there's a couple of differences. First of all, if he gives him 40 by accident, by the way, it's important to know also, if he gives him by accident 40, right? People miscount. 1, 2 is at the beginning of the lash, the end of the lash. I don't know. You have a count. You get mistaken by 1, right? So if a guy gives him 40, and he kills the guy on the 40th by accident, they said he could take 39. The guy counts wrong and gives him 40. The guy dies. So is he gaila or not? So we said that he's gaila. We're going to see in a second that the guy giving malcus is gaila if he kills him on the 40th. He gives him 1 extra, he's gaila. But that's only if the rice is supposed to give him 39. If the rice is supposed to give him 40, so he did what he's supposed to do with the rice. So he can't be gaila. There's no such thing as golas darbanan. That's the question. Is there such thing as golas darbanan or not? There's no such thing as golas darbanan. So therefore he wouldn't be gaila if he gave him 40. Others want to say the difference between the two shitas is if he gives him 40 lashes, he doesn't kill him. He gives him 40 lashes, he's a strong guy, he takes it. But there's a baltaisif. There's a baltaisif. You're not allowed to give him extra, you're not allowed to hit someone, right? And he did. So does he get malcus for that? If the Raisa, he was only supposed to give him 39, give the guy malcus, he'll have baltaisif. But if Midorais is supposed to give him 40, so he wasn't ever baltaisif, it's just Rabbanon. They said don't do it, but B'chari, he did it, it's fine. Okay, so it says the Mishnah, let's read the last line of the Mishnah. Amdu l'kabel aboim. They make an assessment, right? And it's actually a machlekes who makes the assessment. Is Basin themselves have to be mumchim in refuah? Basin have to be mumchim in all the different areas of science, of whatever it is they had in those days. So was it the Basin that made the assessment, or did they have doctors? So some say they had to know refuah, so they made the assessment themselves. Others want to say that they couldn't have known it to the darga of the top doctors to see how much the guy could actually take. You'd have to actually bring in a specialist. It's not enough just to have someone that dabbles in medicine. You need a pro, right? The guy's life's on the line. So, Amdu l'kabel aboim. They said this guy could take 40. They made an assessment. Amduo l'kabel aboim. They said he could take 40. And there's a different gear. It says veloko mixus. He got some of them. So he's halfway through. And they said he can't take 40. There's no way he can take 40. Right? Stop, hold on, he can't take 40. Potter. He's Potter, end the case, he goes home, he doesn't need any more, he's done. Amdulu Kabel Shmoyne Esrei, they said he could take 18, right? And he starts getting it. And they said, you know what? This guy, he took the 18 like it was nothing. Potter. I guess some chof base on the base. Potter, so he's Potter, he also goes home. I guess some people, it looks like they can't take pain, really they can take it. Some people feel pain differently.
We know you can take.
I can't take any pain. They say women can take pain better, right? I don't know if it's scientifically proven. Just take a look at the top Rivon over here, the top of the page. The Rivon says, so we're talking about a case here, right? They said he could take 40. If he gets 3 lashes, and they say, whoa, this guy can't take 40, right? So, says the Rashi, since he was mevuza, the essential part of the malcus is the fact that he had this bizoyin, he was disgraced. Since he was disgraced, and he got some sagilo bahachi, that's enough. You go home with 3. Ava loylaka, if he wouldn't get anything, if they said he could get 40, he wouldn't have had any malcus. If they said he can get 40, then they said, well, no, this guy can't get 40, right? So then he's not Potter. You can't reduce the amount that was assessed. If they said he can get 40, now he's Chai 40. if he hasn't been gotten any malcus yet, shkoyach, if they said he hasn't gotten any malcus yet, I really need this. If they said he hasn't gotten anything yet, so he wasn't this baza, and he has to get the full 40. So you wait till he's healthy, right? He's not part of by. Okay.
So it's not like in the American system where you're potter by unfit to stand trial.
Yeah. Interesting. Here he stood trial. There's no unfit to stand trial. I haven't seen that one before in Torah. He stood trial. He's unfit to take the punishment. That's the case here.
That's the same thing on unfit to stand trial.
Oh yeah.
They determine. I mean, like he's brought to trial.
He's unfit. He's not mentally capable.
He's not mentally capable of
paying the.
Either he was found mentally unstable when he did the crime, so they send him off to the gulag. I don't think they release him. I think they send him off to the
mental institutions.
Yes.
Not always, by the way. Sometimes old people, I know, they send them home. They want to send Madoff home. He said he was sick. They say, okay, go home. It's fine, old man.
I don't know if the question fits now, but do women ever get malchus? And do they ever get golas?
Yeah. Yeah, they're Jews. I mean, it's hard to believe, right? The way they act some of the time, but... Yeah.
Because it doesn't say. I just wonder if it's
yeah.
They're allowed.
Yeah. Yeah. So... Yeah, but it's a good question. It doesn't talk about it beferish, but, yeah. They're not excluded in the Pasuk. So Gemara says, let's see the Gemara. This is a fascinating Gemara. It's relevant to everyone, all times and all places. My timer. Why did he get 39? Iksiv, if the Torah would have said, Arboim b'misbar, Havamina Arboim b'minyona. If it would have said in the Torah, Arboim b'misbar, as opposed to the Chumash says, b'misbar Arboim. If it would have said Arboim b'misbar, Havamina Arboim b'minyona, that this guy should count out the 40. That's what Arboim b'misbar means. Hash d'chsiv b'misbar Arboim, it says first b'misbar, it means minyan shu soikem es arboim, a number that leads to 40. B'mispar, like hamevil arboim. Minyan ha-soikem es arboim. That's what Chazal says. That's how they understand the pasuk. Oh, Rava says, kama tipshi inchi, kama tipshi shar inchi. How stupid are people? We could end the Gemara here and we don't understand what he's saying. People are stupid. Great. We know that, right? Kama tipshi inchi, why are they stupid? They stand up in front of a Sefer Torah. The Sefer Torah walks in, you have to stand up, right? They don't stand up in front of a great man. He means the Talmud Chacham. Why? The Ilu Talmud Chacham, the Ilu Sefer Torah Ksiv Arboim. Because the Torah says, give the guy 40. And the Chacham said, and took off one.
Why?
So we discussed this. So either because it could be, so one of the reasons why it could be. Shaila, first of all, is it the Raisa D'Rabbanan? Are they explaining? Is a pasuk an asmachta? Right? Really, it's D'Rabbanan. The Rambam seems to be saying it's just an asmachta. Midaraisa Yichai 40. Chazal said given 39 asmachta. The question is, why would they do that? Why would Chazal knock off one? The Torah is given 40. No, we want to give him 39. Right? That's the first shaila, which we didn't discuss. But others than they explain the pasuk. The pasuk means 40. Doesn't mean 39. The Torah means 40. So why did it say 40? It's a remez. 40 days Yitzir Savlad. 40 days Moshe was in Har Sinai. It's a kapara for those 40 days. You didn't keep that Torah. That's if you hold this Doraisa. But if you hold this Darabbanan, so why would Chazal knock it down to 39? So one of the answers is because b'chayshish they'll make a mistake, right? B'chayshish will make a mistake, and we don't want him to be over. Bal Taisif, we don't want him to, if he kills the guy, gives him one extra, kills him, he'll be chayv misa, he'll be chayv galus. So Chazal said, you know what, knock it down to 39, and that way, if a guy adds on one by accident, he wasn't over the malka. We don't want marshal the malka, always give 39. I'll just say something very fascinating, that is that the fact that we always give up, you always have to do a you always have to do an assessment. Can the guy take the hits, right? You never give a guy. You always have to check. Can he take 80? Can he take 30? And the Pashta says, the Lashon of the Rambam is, really you're supposed to give him as much as he could take. Right? The Torah says, cut it off at 40. That's the maximum number. It doesn't mean he needs 40. You give him whatever he can take. And you got to do Amida. How much can the guy take? Everyone can take a different amount, right? The Rishonim say, some week can't take anything. It's Pasha, some week can't take anything. Right? Probably nowadays no one can take anything. No one can't take anything. So therefore what? Therefore, since the whole thing is totally in their assessment, so Chazal said, to show that it's all totally in their assessment, the Torah says 40, Chazal are assessing, 39 is enough. It's been putting our foot down. It's in the hands of Chazal to make the assessment how much we can take. And the Shaila Rishonim is are you not Eikadovim in a Torah? You can't go ahead and take out something in the Torah. The Torah says 40. Chazal can't uproot a mitzvah or an avera. They can't say this never applies. You can say don't shake lulav on Shabbos. You can't say never shake lulav. So how is this not uprooting the mitzvah to give 40? And the answer is that the Torah is not saying to give 40. The Torah is saying give as much as you can with an assessment. That's what the Torah is saying. Make an assessment. The Chazal is saying, we're assessing, we think it's fine for everyone to get 39. It's putting their foot down, they're making a statement, and they're knocking it down. So that's what Chazal Gemara is saying, that people are stupid. You stand up for a Sefer Torah, and you don't stand up for Talmud Chacham. Talmud Chacham knocked down to one, and that could save a guy's life. That's a tremendous amount of aggravation Chazal saved this guy, right? Torah says 40, Chazal is saying, nothing doing, 39. You stand up for the Torah, you don't stand up for Chacham. He made life easy for you. And if you hold this Doraisa, then Bechal. That makes a lot of sense, because
we stand up for Talmud Chacham, we're not standing up for the person, we're standing up for his Torah.
Right, exactly. But he's saying people are stupid, they don't realize how much the Chacham brings to them. It makes a lot of sense if you understand that they're explaining the Torah, so you wouldn't understand any Torah without the Chachamim. The Torah says put on tefillin. What's tefillin? Make a sukkah. What's a sukkah? Keep kosher, or what the law. You wouldn't know what any of this stuff means without the Chacham, without the Messiah, the Chazal. We wouldn't know what this letter, we wouldn't know what any of the letters are, you wouldn't know what anything is. So you need the Chachamim, otherwise the whole Torah would make no sense at all, right? Okay, let's keep going. Says the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. We're like the fifth last in our line.
2 dots.
Right, 2 dots. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Arbaim Shleimus. You give him 40, you don't give him 39, you give 40. Omer Rav Yitzchak. My time is Rabbi Yehuda. Why does Rabbi Yehuda say you give 40? Dechsev. My time is Rabbi Yehuda. Dechsev. Ma makos ha'ele ben yadecha v'asher v'omar asher ha'kesi beis ma'avai. Pasuk in Zechariah. So in other words, Rabbi Yitzchak had the shaila, where'd you give him the fourth one? Where'd you give him the 40th? If you got to give 2 in the back, 1 in the front, where's the 40th? So he says, Bein Yodecha. He was hit Bein Yodecha. That's where the 40th one was. You see, there's a pasuk that says he got the 40th malcus Bein Yodecha, between his shoulders. That means that's the 40th one. That's why Rabbi Yehuda says, no, you give him 40. The whole kasha is, where'd you give him the 40th? Here. Pasuk, what's this hit you got? I got hit Bein Yodecha. What's this hit Bein Yodecha between your shoulders? That was the 40th lash. So says the Rabbanan, who that pasuk is talking about malcus bechal. It's talking about a student, a talmid, that they used to hit the talmidim back in the good old days when they could take it, right? Don't try it nowadays.
In the 70s and 80s they still hit.
In England, even in the 80s they were still hitting students. Yeah, not bad. It was already like toned down big time, but
you got a ruler in the hand.
Yeah, it used to be like just a ruler in the hand. Had friends that got beaten up quite badly by the teachers, unfortunately. The teachers were still like, they had a hard time changing. The old school.
European teachers.
Of course, the school refused to fire them because, what's the old yid going to do for Parnasa, right? So let them beat up kids once in a while. Not much you can do about it. Shkoyach. Okay, so says the Gemara, Ein dim ele b'makas aruyas. That's the Mishnah. Okay, so says the Gemara, Loka ein loy loka loy. If he gets malcus, then he's potter. If he didn't get anything, he's not potter, right? They said in other words, they said he could get 40, then he'd give him 10, and they'd see, wow, this guy can't take anymore. So if he got 10, then he's potter. But if he didn't even start giving him, then he's not Potter. Verminu, there's a contradiction. Potter. They said he could get 40, and then he said, no, he can't take 40. Potter. He's Potter. So they said he can get 18. Then they changed their mind. They said, this guy can take 40. He's Potter with the 18 he got. So does he have to, the shayla is that does he, the mashmais of the second of this contradiction, this Bryce that contradicts, is that even if he didn't get malcus, he's Potter. They said he can get 40, then he said he can't get 40, Potter. It's mashma, even if he wasn't like her. Again, it says, Amdula kabel arbaim, and then he said he can't take 40, Potter. It doesn't say he gets malcus, even if he didn't get malcus. So does he have to get the malcus or not to be Potter? Contradiction. Amar of sheishes like kasha, no kasha. Now they've changed the evaluation how much a guy can take. Amish is mashma, and if he got some of them, is he Potter? This brisa is mashma, even if they just change the evaluation without getting anything, he's Potter. So Amar of sheishes explains like kasha. Hadamdu liyaimi, hadamdu lemachal yamachrine ochra. So if they change the evaluation in the same day, the guy said he can get 40, then 10 minutes later he said, no, he can't get 40. He can get 10. Same day. So his physical situation didn't change in 5 minutes, right? That day.
Well,
so
maybe,
it means
maybe it did.
That
maybe he woke up with a headache and...
No, he woke up fine, he didn't get 40, and then he said, no, this guy can't take 40. So what that means is that they made a mistake. The first evaluation was a mistake, and therefore it's bottle. That's why he's not Potter, right? If a different day, he comes back tomorrow and say, well, this guy can't take 40, we made a mistake. So maybe his physical situation changed. So the first assessment wasn't a mistake, therefore it's chal, and therefore if you get some of them, he's Potter. Because the first assessment was a good assessment. If they made a toyus assessment, he's not Potter if they made a toyus. Oh, they made a toyus, you go home free. No. We'll go with a new assessment. Right? They said originally 40. They said, no, you can't take 40, take 20. So give the guy 20. Right? Or 20 you can't give, they give 21, right? But so he didn't get anything. They made a tie. It's the first assessment is a hal. But if they said he could get 40, that assessment was a good assessment. Then the next day they said he can't take 40, so that's it. The first assessment was chal, and he can't get that.
How soon after the assessment does he actually get the malcus?
It says, well, normally they do it that day. But if they don't do it that day, the guy's not here. So there's a busy schedule today, or the guy's got different. He's a doctor. He's got other operations to deal with. Others, So come back tomorrow, right? They wouldn't have to do that day. There's no chiv to do that day. All right. Says the Mishnah. Well, charming stuff, right? Great way to start the day. Avar verish yesh bo shnei lavim. Guy doesn't have there's 2 lavim for. I don't know, we spoke about many of them. He plows the field on Yontav and the Shabbos and he's a Nozin. He's a guy. Okay. So what happens? Amdu Aymed Echad. If they made one assessment for both lavim, like a Potter, he gets the malcus in his Potter, right? So if they said, look, this guy, he did 2 lavim, he can't take 80, but he can take 45, right? He gets the 45, he's Potter. Or they said he can only take 25 for both lavim. He can only take 25. He's Potter from both lavim, right? Vim lav, if they didn't do assessment on both together, they said to him, listen, we're going to make an assessment for one of them. The first Avera, we'll do an assessment. He gets a malcus for that. Then he goes home, gets healthy, gits better. 6 months later, comes back for the second lav. Im lav loika misrapa v'chayzav loika. He comes back for the second lav 6 months later, whenever he's healthy. So it sounds like it's optional. Basin can decide if they want to do 2 assessments or 1. That's what it looks like, right? If they did both together, good. He took 10 lashes for 10 averis he did. That's all he could take. But if they started assessing each avera separately, so how does this work? Like protect, so you pay the basin to see if they do an amida for both together or not. Let's see the Gemara. Ketzad, Gemara says, Vatanya, it says in the Brisa, you can't do an assessment for 12 variants in one go. It's a Brisa, You don't make two assessments at the same time. The guy's going to go home off, with multiple avers free of charge. Amar Sheish is like Kasha. Hadam dula boy mechada, hadam dula boy metarti.
1 second.
So
you're not making an assessment based on what he did wrong, right or wrong.
Right.
You're making an assessment collectively. This guy needs to get 40 malcus or 80 malcus.
The question is how they make an assessment how much he can take. Based on passing, he's chayav 2 sets, right? But how much can this guy take? What's he able to take?
So then 1 second. So you're making the assessment not that he did 2 avers that he gets. We're
not deciding what he did wrong. He already did wrong.
39. You're saying whatever.
How much can the guy? A doctor comes in and says this guy can only take 25. He throws out a number. The doctor says 25. I don't know if it's for 10, for 1 aver, 10 avers. He doesn't care. He says this. What can this guy take? Look at this guy. He could take 5. He could take 10. He could take 100. Right?
So then the question is, do they first find him guilty?
Yeah, he's guilty. They find him guilty. Then
they do the assessment.
Yeah, they find him guilty. Then they say, wait, this guy can take 5. He can take 10. There's a doctor there, administrator. And he says, you can't give him more than 2, or you can give him 3, so he gets 3. So why is it that says Rav Sheshes, what's the difference between Rav Sheshes coming to save the day and all these Gemaras I say over here? So Rav Sheshes says, if they're going to give him 41, so 39 for the first Avera, and he's only got 2 left for the second Avera, so you can't do that. But if he's going to give him 42, that he'll get 3, because it has to be in sets of 3, we said. If he's going to get 3 for the second Avera, that's fine. Then that works. So as long as he's going to get at least 3 for the second Avera, you can do that. It says the Mishnah. Ketzad malkin oisai. How does this work? The guy, the victim, holds the perpetrator, whatever you call him. He holds the omud on 2 sides, with his hands around the sides. They tie. Kaifas means they tie. They tie his hands on either side of the omud. The chazan, it means the shamash, the guy is in charge. He grabs his clothes. If nikru, if it tears, it tears. If nifru, if it pulls at the seam, it pulls. His heart has to be revealed. Forever in the and there's a big stone behind him. The chazan stands on this stone. He's holding on a strap of a calf. Kfula, that's doubled over. 1 to 2, 2 to and 2 to 4. And he's also got 2 ritzuas, 2 straps of a donkey, right? Going up and down this strap. Yada tefach, the handle is a tefach. Rechava tefach, and the width of the strap is a tefach. V'reishim magasa pi kreisai, the head of the strap has to be able to reach his stomach. Umaka oisai shlish milfonov, v'shtei yadis umaka oisai shlish milfonov, v'shtei yadis milachorov. The third one in front and 2 behind. Ve'ena maka oisai lo yoimed, v'lo yeshev elamuti. He's got to be leaning. Shenemar v'pilu hashayfet. It's a pasuk v'pilu hashayfet. V'maka maka b'yodai achas. He uses 1 hand. With all his strength. He doesn't do a double. It's not like a baseball bat. And he says the pasuk im leitish malas. It's a pasuk v'ipila Hashem hakoischa. Ves makos to deliver chayzel l'tchilas hamikra. V'shmatim es divrei arbis hazayis. V'chaysim. He finishes off with the pasuk v'uracham mechaper avoin. V'chayzel l'tchilas hamikra. And then he goes back to the beginning of the pasuk. Okay. V'meis tachas yadai pata. If the guy is mace, he's pata. The guy who's the shliach based in his pata, if he gives him 1 extra, he spends the rest of his life in galus. Now, niskalkel ben berei ben b'mayim potter. If this guy, he dirties himself, he soils himself, either with number 1 or number 2, with potter, he's potter, he goes home. So, good idea to eat some prunes. Some prunes before and spicy chicken, whatever does it for you. Right? The man's only potter if he with ray. A woman's potter even with mime. I guess for a man it's not a desire to relieve himself. But the idea is, the whole point of it is that he should be in this baza. You see, that's the whole point. If he gets 3 and he's in this baza, he's potter. That's how the Rivon explains at the beginning. If you get 3 malcus, why is he potter? He's supposed to get 39. because he's already in this baza. That's a design. The whole point of it is really to be mevaza him, to baza should be machnia himself, to humble himself, whatever it is. So here, as soon as he humbled himself, he was in his baza, shkoyach for a wonderful day. Gruesome shit today, huh? I guess it never. Look, if the Chazal says that no one was ever killed, like once every 70 years, right? It was considered like right. What did it say? Basically killed once every. It's a machlokes once 7 years or 70 years. You were right, right? So probably they did. The lash is like also exceptionally rarely because it's the same rules apply basically. It's just for different areas.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I do think so. I'll tell you why. What was to give a guy malcus? You need. It's the same thing as killing a guy.
How is it the same as one killing him?
It's saying that you need the same Eidim and Asra, right? You need whoever whenever the guy said you should know if you do this, if you eat this pig, you're gonna get malchus, and there's Eidim, there's kosher Eidim that see it, and he's like, I don't care, I'm gonna get the malchus. Normally you punch a guy in the face and get out of here, I'm gonna eat, don't bother me, right? It's very rare that a guy would be like, listen, if you do this, you're gonna get Eidim Asra. There's witnesses standing there. He knows he's going to get lashes 3 minutes later.
There's many
why would that ever happen? It's so rare. That's why
there are many more variants